Well, welcome, beautiful souls. I'm Kat Sticker, and I'm reviving this format for the new year so I can help you to shift demurely into 2025. So, today we're talking about troubleshooting New Year's rituals so that you can effectively manifest the life of your dreams. And maybe you're starting this year with big goals or big New Year's resolutions like normal, or maybe you have a manifestation plan, but somewhere along the line, you tend to lose motivation or confidence. And you may be even wondering, is manifestation magic just hype? So when rituals don't produce results, your year can feel like it's going down the drain. You can lose faith, you lose your momentum, and sometimes even confidence in your abilities. So today we're just going to talk about some tips to help you to keep that momentum going, maybe achieve the intentions that you're aiming for in 2025. So, thank you for joining me here today. I believe I'm broadcasting in my Soul Shifters Guild Facebook group, on YouTube, and Twitch. If I'm on my Facebook profile, like I did when I did the test, I don't know how that's happening, but I'll try to figure out what's going on there because that's not really my intention. But you're welcome to join me on here and with the chat, and I should be able to see uh, chat activity from anywhere that you're tuning in from. So if you do, I'll just keep checking back on the chat to see if anyone leaves a comment so I can address them live. Feel free to ask any questions as we go, or just make a comment. Tell me what you're trying to manifest in 2025. I know I have a lot of plans. I'm sure other people have some plans as well, but I have some cool things to share with you today. So, how can we troubleshoot our manifestation rituals so they don't fizzle out? And what can we do to keep that spark alive all year long? Well, let's consider the manifestation triangle. And I'm going to share my screen here. And while I'm doing that, if you like this content, be sure to hit like and subscribe to get notifications. Uh, all right. So, all right. This right here, and let me hide this banner so you can see better. There we go. This is just a little illustration called the manifestation triangle. Now, if you have your intention and you put in some effort, which is, taking some kind of related action, and then you have certainty or belief, those are the three elements that we like to have in place to be able to stay, you know, stay focused on manifesting that intention. You'll have better success if you have all three of those effectively. Our rituals become more sustainable and inspiring, and we can keep that magic burning strong um, in our hearts and reach that destiny that we envision for ourselves. All right. So, has anyone here experienced setting like what's called SMART goals? Maybe at work you've set SMART goals. Well, before I learned to set SMART goals, I would just, wasn't as clear on my intentions, and I knew I wanted things to be different or generally what I wanted, but it wasn't necessarily crystal clear as if I could touch it. And I found the clearer that my intention is, the more sensory I can make it, the more real it was for me. And I could then bring it into reality. So here's my first tip. Get clarity by reconnecting with your why for the intention. Because when you first set the intention, you did it for a reason, right? So ask yourself, why does this intention matter? And if you do that on the front end of setting the intention, you're not, troubleshooting after the fact. Try to do it preventively, because if you aren't feeling that spark, you might need to tweak your goal or how you're approaching it. You need to be clear on your intention, and it needs to be important to you. So consider in the past which rituals or resolutions lost their luster for you, and never came to fruition. Why do you think that happened? Think about which of those pieces was missing. Was it misaligned with your frequency? Did you have a change in circumstances and now it was no longer relevant? Or maybe you just didn't have clarity in the details. So one way we can fix clarity is be sure it's a singular intention to focus on instead of a complex multi-part intention, because simplicity makes for a cleaner and clearer outcome. You can just, reduce the variables involved. Now, I had a friend who, unfortunately, she was laid off and she lost her job as an accountant. But, she kept a good attitude about it. She believed it happened for a reason. And that reason is so that she'd get, the job of her dreams that was even something even better was going to come along. And she wanted a manager position in a more stable industry, something that was fulfilling to her in her same line of work, still in accounting, but something that was paying more. She wanted an awesome boss. She wanted a career path. I mean, that all sounds good. That sounds doable. And the way she talked about it, I could tell she was clear about what she wanted. So she performed a ritual to manifest this job, and she believed it was hers. But weeks went by and nothing happened. And I asked her, well, so how many places did you apply to? And she responded, none. And I was like, well, have you been networking? You have, some good contacts? You have a lead? And she said, no, not really. And I was like, well, what have you been doing? And she said, well, I did this ritual. And that was the action that I took. And so I will ask you, are you taking any action or following up as needed? The second part of our triangle is effort. So we need to use our brains to take the necessary steps to increase your chances. I mean, yeah, it's possible that it could fall into your lap. You find $100 on the ground or whatever, that happens. But if you want something that badly, you should be doing everything in your power to get it. Set yourself up for success, right? And the ritual is that icing on the cake that can seal it, but you're going to increase your success odds through applying some action to that. Now, if you want a guided worksheet on finding your why, you can check out the goals setting worksheet in my private Facebook group. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find. First of all, I was going to show you this tip number 2, take the relevant action. And then I have this one. Get this goal setting worksheet in the Facebook group, Soul Shifters Guild. And I'll share that with you on the stream real quick. All right, so this first tab in here is the pillar planner, and this is just really brainstorming on your intentions. But the real work happens on the second tab, the goal tracker, and this is where you can put in your goal description, and notice column F, my why for this intention, and then column G is the actions or milestones that you're taking. And then you track your progress, like how much money's coming in January and February, and etc. So that is the tracker worksheet that you can get there. I just want to share that for a brief moment. And so, it goes through the components of SMART goals that you can use for setting your goals or intentions for manifestation. You can use it to ensure all of your intentions have an action plan. All right. So be sure to get that. Now, here's the main thing for me. Honestly, the hardest part of the entire manifesting business is really that third part of the pyramid. It's the surety that this intention exists in my timeline. And some people use visualization. That's a technique. It's commonly used for manifestation. You use it to picture the manifestation coming to life. But in my experience, it's really not enough to create certainty for me, and definitely not just, visualizing one time. I think it's important, but you have to know it in your heart. Has anyone heard of shape shifting? It's kind of a similar concept. You have to step into that manifestation. It is done. It truly exists for you before it becomes real, and you believe it 100%. So my tip number 3, let me find that banner here. Belief or certainty is necessary to embed that intention in your timeline. And some steps that you can take if you're someone who's full of doubt is, first of all, you can go deeper with your visualizations using sensory type of imagination, like you feel it, you smell it, you hear it, you put yourself into that scene. And that's really good if you have a good imagination, you're good with visualization. You can also combine breath work in with visualization to breathe life into that intention. And you can also, number 3, you can leverage the power of prayer and bring in helpers to manifest. That's like, leaving it in God's hands. So whatever it takes to help you believe. For me, picturing it in my timeline and knowing in my heart it's there has really been effective for me. So let me just check the chat real quick and see if nobody's left a question there for me. All right, so for tip number 3, I also have in that Soul Shifters Guild Facebook group an affirmation sheet for you, and I'll just show that real briefly on the screen, that contains declarations for intention, effort, and certainty. So you can tell I'm like really trying to get you in that Facebook group. But if you don't have a Facebook, that's okay. I can just email it to you if you leave me a comment. I'm happy to leave that, to do that for you, to send it to you. So one other thing that you can check out if you need some ideas for intentions to manifest, you can check out my blog post on katsticker.com. New Year, New Energy, 5 Manifestation Rituals to Start 2025 Right. So just to recap what we talked about today, clarify your intention, reaffirm your why, make every effort you can towards that intention, and believe it. You know it's going to happen. It's already happened. It already exists in your timeline. So I want to just really thank you guys so much for joining me today on Soul Shift Thursday. Next Thursday, I'm going to switch gears a little bit and preview my ritual art, Becoming the Light, and talk about how you can become the light. And that should be a really special time. So I will catch you next time. And thank you very much for joining me today.